Yeah, Patsy, welcome to Big Conversations by Ordinary People podcast.
Thank you.
I've not had podcasts in a while, so when you decided to come late, I felt depressed. I was like, eventually our podcast never guessed you. For them, they don't really rate our timing. Supposing I had like other things in my thing, but then I thought about what could go wrong in a country like Uganda, and with that, I'm like, man. First of all, I know for a fact she has been looking forward to having this. So something has definitely gone wrong. I'll give you the chance to, one, introduce yourself. How would you want us to really understand who you are? And also maybe, explain to the audience that has heard me rant about you coming late. Or you come late, then we'll get into the conversation.
Okay. I'm Nalu Patricia. So I'm late. Like you said, there's so many things that can go wrong in Uganda.
True.
First of all, you're also to blame. We have pushed this conversation
Agreed.
for like a month plus.
True.
Next week I'm around, then the other year around, then I'm not. Then,
True.
yeah, but
Finally, we're having
yeah,
this.
we're finally here, and small car issues that I was able to sort, and I made it here. So I'm sorry though.
No,
Excuse
it's
for
fine.
that. My bad. Yeah. And now for the podcast out. Yeah, when you reached out to me for starters to come and talk, I didn't know that I could actually right now be here speaking on big conversations with big people.
What? Okay. It's really big conversations by ordinary people.
Sorry, by ordinary people,
Yes.
my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, still ordinary people, big conversations. It was as blown away by, I don't know how people probably see me. You know, we're all moving around with that whole imposter syndrome. We get up, do things, you're like, But yeah, so I sat down and thought, I've been listening to so many podcasts. Of course, I listen to podcasts, yeah. But not usually, not the ones really about like, what can I say? It's entertainment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A few where it's like some, self-help kind of thing. Because I don't read self-help books. I failed. So I just try to listen in as I'm doing other things. But on the other side, it's the funny podcasts, the ones that people are ranting about relationships. What. So I had to go around and research. And at first I really thought, I'm like, I can't really talk about oil and gas only. That's very wide. I am not the minister. I don't have so much information about it. But it's a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would love for you to talk about that. Then also, me as a person, like I said, I'm a feminist. I really, really do believe in women. I find, I really, really am on that. And then also, I'm an entrepreneur. So I do so many things, I could say. And yeah, and I also love fun. I be outside.
So yeah, most importantly for me, I bring you onto the podcast because oil is still a significant part of our energy, right?
Yeah.
For decades to come. And I wouldn't want to ignore that. So I want to pick your mind on so many things. But firstly, you do not really have to have an expert opinion, right?
Yeah.
It's just majorly from your perspective of how you understand things. And the other day I was seeing my good friend Comrade Otoa speak on giving us an update on what the sector looks like in Uganda and what that is for Ugandans. And it comes in time for us to have the conversation. One, I would want to hear from your perspective, right? What does oil and gas mean to a Ugandan from you, who is a petroleum scientist?
Okay. Like you said,
Still, they have also started really getting oil, right? So
drilling has been going on for a while now.
does this make us rich? Does this put us in the same power strength as Russia, as China? Talk to me about it.
So for starters, it's a very, very, it's going to like bring a lot of development to the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure, because oil and gas as an industry doesn't work in isolation. Yeah, it works so many other, factors, so many other industries, I can say, so many jobs, cooking, all those things. So like it's going to really, be a very significant development. Let me give you a short story. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to be, I think I found I wanted to be a petroleum engineer in like Form 3. Yeah. And then I'm a firstborn and I'm a girl. So firstborn daughters, you get. My parents wanted
You're
a
a mother.
doctor. Yeah.
Right.
So my parents wanted a doctor. I finished Form 4. I didn't like biology, but I passed it. And they're like, yeah, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sign. Go. So I went, I did biology courses. Yeah, since I didn't like it, I failed it at the end. So I'm there with chemistry and math. And I'm wondering what I'm going to do, at uni. And surprisingly, newspaper has cut off what my dad, who said go be a doctor, is here now telling me, you know what, there's petroleum here and you have the cutoffs. So I came back to it. So yeah, fast forward to join campus. Oh my goodness, because you've heard about how there was works happening for a time, then they closed down. They closed it in like 2012 and they sent everyone home packing. Everyone that was working in the industry went away, so they closed works. According to what I've read and I've heard, and our politicians say things were going too fast and the Ugandan was not understanding what was going on. We're not thinking for ourselves. So they were like, let's first, pull up. So now these lecturers who had been, in the industry before drew a picture for us about what this whole thing is going to do. And on the good end, it was very, very motivating. You're 20 years and they're telling you once you finish your 3-4 years, you're going to become this, going to work in places where they fly in experts, where meals are where it was just crazy.
Sleeping in $1,000 apartments.
Exactly. It was mad. Like they tell you they're going to, because by then they're like, the airport will be ready. That's joint campus 2017. So they told us Fast Oil. You've heard of Fast Oil?
Yes.
Fast Oil was going to be 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Not actually, first it was 2019. Then they said 2020. Then COVID happened. We're not yet done with school. Then it told us 2022. 2024, right now in 2027, right? 26, 27. So from a perspective of me, a student who graduated, expecting to go right away and work and find everything moving fast, it has really delayed. Yeah.
Yeah, don't you feel like that's affected by the fact that now the world is focused more on clean energy?
No, there is that too. But that won't stop the fact that we have the resources. And minus clean energy and all that, it's new. People saying clean energy are the same people using the same cars that are powered by fuel to move.
Yeah.
But we don't have it's very sustainable in the future, but as of now, it can't,
So you're saying that the steps all these climate activists are putting up are almost like a waste of time?
No. I did not say, no. Do not take me. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that in our kind of economy right now, in our country, they're not yet feasible enough. Yeah. Because if you wake up and someone is boycotting EACOP, yeah. And this same EACOP, currently our company, we are supposed to do some topography work with a pipeline and what. And like this same EACOP is supposed to move our resources and create money for people. And, there's a refinery park supposed to be built. So if you come here and start boycotting EACOP, it doesn't really make sense. I won't lie.
But does it make sense for, say, one Bill Gates to write and educate us about climate change when he's flying private jets to Africa every other day? Right? So that's the conversation. I think that's also the conversation that one of the princes, the Prince of Saudi was putting across, that it seems like it's just a power play, right?
It could be a power play. It could be a power play or not. But also we can't ignore the things that climate change is talking about that are true.
Mm-hmm.
We us ourselves are witnessing weird, weather changes.
True.
You expect rain. People down in the villages are expecting rain, to come, and they plant their crops, and it's not raining, or it's raining in really different seasons. I'll give a very small example. We waited for grasshoppers last year.
True. I don't like grasshoppers. I don't know why people eat insects, but yes, you seem to be a fan.
That's very white of you to say.
But I don't like grasshoppers.
No, grasshoppers are such a great person. But
Yeah, but I could feel the
Yeah.
pinch. Guys waited for them.
like that sounds like small, but like that's how much this whole climate has been affected by all these changes happening. So we can't ignore the fact that that's happening. All I can say is that you're coming from such countries whereby they even go ahead, and the other day when the Dubai floods were happening, I read about this whole, is it cloud what? Where they inject water. into the
Cloud seeding, right?
Yes, cloud seeding, yes. They inject water, like they make rain come. Yeah. So there are countries who are going ahead and doing their own things in the ways that they can to bring about things happening in this whole climate change situation. But as a Ugandan here, it's a very good idea, all that. Shout out to Nakate, Vanessa. But some of the things that you go ahead and talk about are not feasible enough yet for us. Because if you're saying that you're going to bring clean energy and you're going to use, electric cars and all that, first of all, how many people have electric cars right now? They're there though.
But that's the promise, right? Like that's the
It's a
future.
promise.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what
So
you
we're
want.
getting ready for it. I feel like Starbucks is setting up everywhere because they're going to put like EV charging systems.
There's that. There's something to us about stuff.
Yeah, but that's all in my mind. I feel like the
Next
Kenyan president is positioning himself so well for that, because not even the former one, when he brought rubies, did he expand that fast. But then what's are the electronic cars cheaper? We already still have a problem with the DMCs on our roads, right? Like people. So what does the future look like for us from your perspective?
So from my perspective, I think the future, with time, all these climate change things being put up, the complaints and all the things we're talking about to do, they'll be feasible, they'll be working. But as of now, like some extremes can't work with us right now. Yeah, like people who are pushing the agenda come in extremes. That whole Stop EACOP really alarmed me. I saw influencers who have no idea. And I've always had an issue with that influencing bit.
Of marketing, right?
Yeah, I've always had an issue with it because you're getting people. Someone who was influencing a new bar yesterday.
Yeah.
To talk about EACOP today.
They're spreading awareness because they have all these other people glued to their timelines, I think.
Yes.
So for them, they're spreading information as it comes in. Something the media has done for quite some time.
Yeah. There's that, which I understand. Yeah, there's the noise and awareness.
All the diversion, right? Like, just first finish maybe.
But also, in the way that they bring out the concept, half cooked.
Okay.
You see someone talk about like qualities of fuel. Let me say at different petrol stations. Yeah, and they're talking about the hard terms and using them wrongly. So like, at least let the lead of the campaign have their proper knowledge about it. Like spread correct information. So it makes it hard for me to believe, to like imagine someone who was spreading like a new restaurant or what, and then you're telling me about climate change, Stop EACOP, because I can't even ask you what climate change is, and you can't even reply that.
But you do not know that.
I do. I get to know that when I see you spreading something that's not.
Because your argument here is this, right?
Yeah.
If I know about bars, I am then limited to know about climate change. Yet in a world where information is so much at our disposal.
No.
Definitely.
This is what my argument is. Yeah. Would have brought that out wrongly. But my argument is, if you're coming out to talk about things, have proper, fully well-researched information. No, I'm not asking you for an essay. Yeah, I know you're just pushing what you've been told to push. But what happens after you say something? Because if I ask you, okay, we're pushing this new bar, and then where's the location? What up? And you send me the menu, you know, because I imagine that's what you're supposed to do next after putting that out. But if I ask you, if you're putting out like stop EACOP, what, and I ask you if I'm trying to have a continuing conversation with you, and you can't give me that, yeah, it doesn't make sense at the end of the day, because even some people end up, you know, when you're copying, I've influenced before, by the way, as a campus, need money, and you're in a WhatsApp group, they send you information, post. So in the copying and pasting on the other end, someone can even paste the wrong things, and they put the proper hashtags and what. So what happens to the people who actually know about that topic that you're talking about? Yeah. What happens to them seeing that information not put out the right way?
So they come and correct. In a world where I work, I feel like that would be the ideal solution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what the influencer is doing is creating awareness, whether wrong or not. They do not. So, because again, this is like the information age, how you define absolute truth is very, very relative, right?
Yeah,
To your sources.
Yeah.
So if I am the plug and this is my agenda and it's from this scientist who also has their agenda and this is what I am feeding you to feed the world, you're going to do exactly that, right? So in this case, whatever I'm getting that gets to the final consumer becomes that, to me, that's the absolute truth because my source fed me with that, all right? Google does that. Google gives wrong information when you search, even when you're using AI, right?
They tell you, I've seen the whole disclaimer.
Stupid information sometimes, right?
Don't
They even
listen.
hide information you can get from some other search engines, right? But so many people believe that Google is their absolute truth. So in this case, I don't blame. I blame the cause. Like, I want my friend Jose here to be in position to understand the effect of climate change.
Yes, I get you. I get what you're saying. But also what I also worry about, because you being an influencer, you have all these numbers, you have all this following. So you disseminating information that's half true. It's also not doing us the proper justice it should.
True. But are you saying the world doesn't have thieves?
And no, it has thieves, of course. Even if I came and corrected you, like you said, correction, are you going to repaste that to everyone?
Maybe, but people will see that. That is why I like this functionality Elon Musk put up, community notes, where
you
see like some bit of facts to something, because that has been the agenda. Forget the influencers, right? Look at what Next Media does with, say, election time, and the election engineer you into believing this is right, yet it's probably not even in existence, right? So that is what.
Even
that is what
we
they do. Consume, yeah.
They show you this one is winning, and not showing the other person is winning.
True.
Yeah.
So your mind is already programmed to think that, man, it has been already biased.
Me, I think like, okay, I agree. Me, I'll go back to the topic of influencers. I agree with it. Have numbers, influence, put awareness. But let there be some things that should have proper steps for you to like some things are a bit not just supposed to be put out there the way you're putting out to buy a loaf of bread. Like, I don't know. People need to do better.
So what is the information you'd wish the people that follow you on the internet should know about climate change? Or maybe oil and gas, right? In general, like, what should they know? That how should they position themselves? What should they think about the global markets? All that from you, as at least someone who has one. I don't know if you're earning off this to be a professional of it, but at least you have some education around it, right?
I do.
Yeah.
So for oil and gas, like it's a very, very vast field. Because personally, I'm not yet even specialized fully where I want to focus. Yeah. So that puts me out of line to say that I'm an expert in this, or, you know. But I'll start with, let me start with climate change. Climate change is a very, very good cause, which I actually do believe in. And it's going to do so much for us. Like I said earlier.
You feel like it's going to save the world?
It is. We need it. We actually do need it. Like, you know, for us, we are lucky to have a stable weather, like you be seeing countries with mad, you know, like crises, like tornadoes, all that stuff happening, and you're like, okay, like we really need to do something about it, yeah. And it's really good. We deserve it. We need companies out here. By the way, companies have set up. First of all, you saw Total change from Total. What was there
To
Total Energies? Okay,
Yeah.
but they had to change the name to include the whole climate, the whole
energy thing.
energy thing, like the whole climate
like,
change,
yeah.
sustainable energy, like so the world is really moving there, and it's we need it. But also what I can say is that there's some extremities that are not yet feasible for us as a country. That when you're going to come out and put out information about something happening in, you know, like some things work for the US and not here. And let's also be mindful as you're putting out such information.
I feel like we should call out maybe bodies like more on this, right? Like this information is out there. You are responsible maybe for
directing us on how to take it.
Yes, right? Then you come out and deny, because
they've tried.
You're not going to count on my ability to be a good person.
Yeah. Of course, no one counts on anyone in that way. Yeah. So okay, yeah, they've tried. I've been, we attend these conferences and you're seeing, giving explanations, they're giving you numbers, they're telling you by this year we are going to have clean energy by this percentage, what, all that's happening.
So when we switch to like the economic factor, right? I've had Tony Ottawa on here. I've also had Hilary Bamlinde on here, and they have said because they're investing in oil and gas. Then Hilary, I think, then said people are going to get so many jobs and things are going to change. But it feels like that has been so slow. Yeah, something is not right. I want to think, of course, like the usual, there's maybe some bit of corruption, but the impact on community, it's not something I see. I don't see guys come up and say that guy has put up a mall because they're an engineer in this sector, right? I don't see that impact yet. Maybe I'm a bit ignorant, but for someone like you who attends the conferences,
what I can say, I've seen an impact on like individual level of different people. On the lower side, not the lower side, but the people who have gone through school because of these companies to go and become, these engineers that they are today. Yeah, they've schooled them, they've done what. But what else I can say is that, like you said, there's corruption, there's nepotism. Yeah, there's so many other things that are delaying, and it also like needs to make you wake up. Me, I'll give an example for myself. So we finished school, and I've done interviews with all these companies, and they don't get back to you. And they get back to people and they tell them that they failed. Yeah. They get back to people and they tell you get the next step, and some just don't get back to you. And then the next thing you know, you're seeing someone on LinkedIn congratulating themselves, forgetting the position. Yeah. So it also pushes you to start seeing, how else am I going to get in? Me and a few colleagues were like, let's get our own company, because let's also have a proper fighting chance in this. So
the licensing and all that, how did that go?
You go and register and start doing what you can work.
But your company now has all that, right?
Yeah, the licensing to do the work that we do. Okay. Yeah.
What work are you guys
doing? I can't say we are doing. We do a lot of surveys. We do maintenance for like petrol stations, for their machines that they have. Yeah, it's mainly that surveys, which is on the surveys. Like,
are you guys listed on the NSDA? Okay.
Yeah, NSDA we are. So yeah, that's the first requirement in required to work. So
yeah, I tried to. I wanted to put in. I have like a fresh foods thing somewhere in Wandeke, right? So, but then Hilary had sold me the promise of supplying lots of things like just tomatoes is going to be profitable, and that. So I tried to like get my thing up registered, which was very, very, by the way, expensive for me. It made me broke for about half a year
to register,
to get through the whole process, get guests
down there to Albertine.
Yeah. So all that, and up to now, there's some guy with a name from the West, bypassed me probably, and they gave him that deal or whatever they do
I know
all the
him.
time, right?
Mm.
So that happens, and to me, so I feel like I was at a disadvantage with the industry, so I feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's many people who have so much to say about that. And I think it also goes back to life being life. Yeah, like, because, like I told you, we've been there, we've tried to apply for so many things. You go and, you get down there, you ask, there's a contract we've chased for 2 years. And in those 2 years, you know what? Engineering contracts in Uganda are a mess. Because by the time you finish,
Contracts are a mess.
you've given out over, so you've people want to take over 60% of their money.
The money takes forever to come back.
And it's taking forever to come back, and someone wants 60% before they even give you the work. But like I said, it's a very, very tough, it's just a very tough economy right now. And I do not think we are going to have to trust it to become better. Just have to find a way and fight.
But on climate change, right, and carbon emissions, don't you kind of feel like me as a Ugandan, right, who has trees, there's green, don't you feel like the USA wants me to join a fight I am not yet ready to be a part of, or I'm contributing very little to, right? Look at the companies here, really. I'm still living below average too. They said the average Ugandan lives on, it's what, below
$1.
below $1. I don't like to believe those stats most of the time, but I have to work with them, right?
Well, they're actually true. I have a colleague who was just doing some work. She's a nurse. So she was doing some research work in the slums in Uganda.
And people are living below
And
2 bob.
she told me people are living below like someone's budget for day can be 1,500. Yeah, so it's actually true. Wherever it is, we are just privileged.
And Banda is in Kampala, right?
Yes,
So it's great.
really, really close in Kampala. Yeah. So yeah, but back to that, like you said, there's a fight. We are just like when on the bigger extent, yeah, when they put up all those things about carbon emissions and how they should be done, it also puts in play. It also helps us in a way that these companies that are going to do work, for example, yeah, down there, like the main companies being contracted to do work. Now, so it comes to like waste management. They're going to be cautious enough, building all those kinds of pits and using the, some gases to inject them to use to make more stuff out of it. That's on the plus side for us, because however much we may not be contributing much to the conversation right now, we are also having consequences around it in case we don't. So on the larger extent, that is also true. It works in our favor, the other. But then it just has to come down to how much we have to put into to go ahead with this fight. Because, like I said, there's like Hillary told you, there's so many jobs going to come up because of oil. So many jobs have to come up. Be it, because now there's a whole refinery park going to be set up. There's a whole, pipeline. All those people are working there. Well, whether it's a, Western name running the things, it's Ugandan at the end of the day.
What do you think about the alternative fuels?
They work. Some are just not, because some are not sustainable enough. Yeah. And the thing with some of these alternative fuels, some get done. Because now, I don't know how many hot springs we have in Uganda to produce enough geothermal energy to help run things. Yeah. But also now, like it can work for, let me say, different countries, different areas, and how much you need for, and how much you're going to use that energy for. So, like they say, of course, you can keep on improving and trying to use them for more and more, but that won't negate the fact that we have this resource here that could as well make things move faster and get things done. We can't wake up. That's why I was telling you, when you're campaigning about EACOP, there's a student seeing that who would probably want to become a petroleum engineer, and they're discouraged because they're thinking this is not a feasible job. If the next years climate change.
I mean, lawyers are always complaining online, but guys never stop applying.
Guys never stop applying. Guys never stop being relieved from the unit to go and do other things. So what I'm saying is that let's just be careful with how much information we are putting out there to take in. And
be careful with how much we consume.
yeah, we are consuming from that because, like you said, it's an information era.
Yeah.
There's too much. There's information from everywhere and anything. So that's what I can say. But on the larger extent, climate change is good, and we need it. We need to have those things in place. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Now, we are going to drift away from some bit of oil to go into... Where did you feel the need to mention that you were feminist?
Do
you feel like you need to wear it like my jacket?
I don't necessarily wear it though, but sometimes it's a part of me. I can say it's something that I really strongly believe in. Yeah. And more so if I'm on a platform where I'm going to be
just speaking to people.
It's very, very crucial for me to be known as one.
Okay. Yeah. What does it mean to be? When you say I am a feminist, what do you mean?
Okay. In a man's speaking layman, and this one feminist, as we see on the internet, it has so many different understandings. People, that's what I always see when I see arguments around it. I just think about how we all get it differently, I guess. So in my own understanding of what I think it is, it's about women being empowered. Yeah.
About women being empowered or about equality for all genders?
Women being empowered and equality.
For women, you see?
No, for women, actually, not even for all genders.
There are men who call themselves feminists, right? Whenever I think about, yeah. So, there's a woman who lied to me that she had my baby, but she was supposed to be a girl. But it wasn't, thank God. That I don't So in the work of thinking about something like that, right? And the fact that I have more sisters than brothers, right? I like to be that one person who thinks that in a very accurate world, I would want the best for my sisters. I would want the best for my mother. I would want the best for the people I work with who are female. The ones that I know, right? I can only think about the people I know. I cannot think about the people I do not know.
Yeah.
So in that wake, I feel
that you're a feminist.
I'm a feminist in only context that where my brother and sister exist, there should be equal treatment, right? I don't ever feel the need that there's something special about my sister that she should overlap my brother, right? So my two immediate siblings, one is Glenn, another one is Glenna, right? So when they were both still in school, so siblings always cry for money from any other sibling. That I still do this from siblings who are bigger than me. At no point did I feel that I think my sister is having it rough. Let me send her 100K. But my boy, because he's a boy, my bro, let me send him 50 bob. At all the times, I have attended to their needs as equally as, you know what, you humans who are coexisting, and these are the challenges you face in life.
Okay.
And if I can support here, it's going to be from the fact that both of you are my siblings, and my support is going to be as fair. It's not going to be biased to maybe feeling as the world is unfair to one side and not to one. Okay, one side is vocal about how the world is unfair to it, and the other side is saying, what's the point of being vocal about it?
Okay.
Right.
So let me ask you a question in regards to what you just told me. So your sister, how old are they?
I don't know, Glenn is like 20, 21, I'm not sure, 22, 23. 22 at most. Yeah. The boy. So the girl must be 21 or 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at one point, you've never felt like, let me say, you said you tend to care to them equally.
Yeah.
In all ways. Yeah. as a girl at 21, 22, I imagine she's in campus. There's men trying to pray around her and trying to want to give her all kinds of things.
Society has made you to believe that.
No, I have experienced
Because there are women praying around my brother, right?
No, I have.
And I don't want this to be a man boy thing, but I'm saying,
yes.
So when I was 20 years, I was very, very stubborn at her home. My dad removed me. My dad's home is just around here in Tinder. So they told me to go and stay in Gayaza at home is Darling. And I was staying with the secretary, who also is my auntie because she's my dad's sister. Now, she had a maid, right? No, actually, no, she didn't have a maid. The next, so in the staff quarters, there was a fellow staff who had a maid, right? This maid was probably, I wasn't even 20, I was 15, say, give or take 15, 15, 16, around that age. So this maid was, say, 25, 26. And she had very many sexual advances towards me, right? But because the way my mind was designed to like see it was in a way that, do I really need to talk about this? Right? And that is a me problem. I'm not taking away from anyone's experience. But in cases where there are bad people who do bad things, oftentimes they never choose whether they want to do that bad thing to a woman or to a man, right?
Well, no, sometimes they actually do choose.
My scenario can only seem that it's an exemption because so many boys like me never feel the need to talk about it.
And that's where I come in, yeah?
Right. We don't see it as important.
And that's where I come in, because what makes you think that me talking about a lady and what she is going through, it means that I should also talk about you as a man.
No. Okay. So I went off point. So how I was going back to your point was, in a world where there are people who do bad things, when you list out the fact that my sister at 21, there are men seeing her, you are looking at it as something special, right? At 21, she's probably, I don't know when they start menstruating, when girls start menstruating. That is seen as also an issue, right? To some, it brings about insecurities and whatnot. So in a world where these things are going to happen, why should the counter solution be you rise against the people doing this, the people we assume are doing these things, not actually even the system. You rise against the people doing these things, so then challenge them. Because whenever there is like repelling energy, it's always going to be a fight, right? There will never be an equal solution. Because somehow the women are always feeling like victims, even when they shouldn't, right? So if the solution was, if say, I don't want to say how our dad raised us, but yeah, it is, my dad is a strong believer in physics, Newton's law of motion. To every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction, right? Something he just kept telling me as I was going back. You do this, this is how you'll suffer consequences, right? Yeah.
So let me ask you something. What makes you think that if I woke up and talked about how girls are vulnerable at a certain age in life and how so many men, I can say men, take advantage of that, what makes you think that I'm attacking your gender, your gender as a person?
Because you are attacking. First of all, you are attacking.
What makes you think that you who is not a rapist? What puts you off about that?
It doesn't, but it really
I stood out.
You know the stereotype of Abasoga Basiru?
Heard of that.
My aunties, right, who are Abasoga, are the smartest people I know. All my friends who are Abasoga, to me, are the smartest people I know. So I always feel insulted. Always when people say that, but people freely say it because they normalized it. Some guy
got pissed. Stereotype though, but there is not so much.
The same thing as men are trash. It's a stereotype.
Yeah, and I'm me saying that men come and rape people and all do that. Like when I say men are trash, you're supposed to understand it now in the context I'm bringing it. People do take that in very different ways, because me, when I wake up and I'm vocal about what women go through as a woman who has gone through whatever I've gone through, that shouldn't put me in a shooting ground to say that I'm not caring about men or I'm victimizing myself. Because these things happen. When the first, before women didn't vote, men were voting, You get me? So people felt the need to come and address issues about women. My grandmother, deep down, R.I.P., she just died last year.
So rest in peace.
So, she was not eating chicken. My mom told me herself, like she could not eat chicken and she would cook it and give it to her husband to eat. So if someone comes out and is saying that, you know what, for women, I'm going to talk about the things that women go through, that doesn't stop you men to talk about the things that men.
Let me stop you right.
And
so such issues that your grandmother was not eating chicken. See, I like drug dealers. So they have formulas, right? They have like systems with how they run and operate things, right? They follow codes of conduct that really make them so successful, right? One of those codes of conduct amongst drug dealers is you do not mess with any drug dealer's family, right? Like Bena Bikole, you fuck around with my money, do everything, do what, but do not touch my family. Even if the worst comes to the worst, once you touch my family, you've broken a code of conduct. So all these other guys are going to find out that, hey, this guy really things go to us and he did this, right? So I like to really believe that is exactly how such systems were with homes, right? For do not eat chicken, right? We just like to pick it out as now because we can really cling to it that, you know what, women were stopped from eating chicken, but maybe it was just a thing of respect, right? Designed that way. Like when you look at there's that argument, by the way, of
but I don't know
feminism being
I don't know why you're picking out the whole eat chicken. Let's go as far as voting.
Okay.
So what made you think, do you think it was out of respect for me to, probably for those days, to go and say, let my man go vote for us as a country?
It still happens.
And then me, I sit back
it still
here
happens.
because, I don't have to have a say.
In very healthy families, right?
And what I can even tell you about one thing, because we all know respect is relative. We have all different.
Yeah, but in very.
But you waking up and then making it general for all the women out there, because it was a rule. It was, I think that was happening.
It was some sort of hierarchy, right?
And what makes you think that
a man, when you get married,
I get.
When you get married to me, right? I speak for you. Yeah. When we go to functions, where people are actually going to drink alcohol, there's no rule, there's no what. When you stand up to hold the mic, you, I'm going to stand up and actually say that let my wife speak first, because then I'll conclude, because I have to sum up for us as a household, right? That is a medium of respect. That is a system put in play. It's like the Bible. It's like how education is really introduced, right? It's not really that the guys that pass school are the smartest people, but really it's just to check your system, how far you can finish through systems, right? I feel like we really got it wrong, because right now you girls get points to go to campus. That is very wrong. Yeah, because I've seen over time, I actually really think women are smarter than boys, even in school. The people that used to do my discussions mostly were women. Yes, that's how I could only understand things through that.
That's you as a person.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but you still have the point, right?
Let me tell you something. I was in science class, and in my campus class, we were 6 girls and over 45 boys. Yeah. And so time comes and it's time for election for some society whereby I need like our class to send a leader. And as a person who has gone through systems whereby I'm a bit ambitious, so I tend to go forward and get things, trying to get things done, be in those positions. And you're seeing people camping behind someone who is not even capable enough, to do what is required. Because there are even times whereby we've gone ahead and sometimes people are like, let's just appoint this for a lady, because people are going to just go and gang up behind a gentleman because it's a man, and it's to them they're thinking, how can a lady lead us? there was actually this one gentleman who were serious ops, yeah. And the day the election decided to happen, I think he he came late to class that day, but he had already assured me how he has to go and stand, and it became a power thing till we finished campus, because that day he wasn't around, and I went and stood and passed him. But the other times when he would be around, people are like, how can you let a lady, like, people don't even need to say it, because you go through systems, you're nominated, you've passed through whatever you're supposed to pass through, and you're capable. And at the last point, because you're a girl in a class of 6 people, yeah, who are fellow girls, you're failing to get that position. So it could be you knowing that ladies are intelligent, and you believing that women are very sharp and need those points or whatever. But what's happening to a girl deep down in the village who has got menstruation and they can't come to class, yeah, because they don't have pads, and you're missing school, and that whole, negativity. Me, I had friends, when I just had a friend who one time saw a pad covered, like a brand new pad, and he couldn't touch it. Like, I'm not telling you to touch and hold, like, food, but like, he was disgusted by a clean, brand new pad.
Okay.
So what's going to happen to that girl who is deep down there in
So
the village?
the solution to that is to dismantle capitalism, right? I'll give you that same example in this way. The owner of these apartments, right, has this block, yeah, and he has a couple of apartments in Entebbe. This block is free right now. There's only one tenant. There's actually 2 right now, us and the person at the extreme end. All the others are free. But he's not going to go to the street and pick guys who don't have where to sleep and tell them, since I have extra space here, sleep here. Right? Those guys cannot really afford to sleep here. So the question as to why you, who can go to King's College Budo, gets points extra, and then a girl from Chanamutaka gets also 10 extra because of their condition, right? They cannot afford pads, becomes very, very unfair to the boy child, because you're using capitalism to attack the boy child, not an actual cause, an actual problem. For me, it's not me and you who both can afford to go to King's College, right? We should be judged the same. But we are not, because we're accounting for the fact that there are people like you who do not go to King's College, but we're not accounting for the people like me who don't go to King's College. And
so when you go ahead and generalize and say, like, so do you think there should be script, or do you think the person down there should suffer because they can't? So, because it's
suffering is part of life, right? It's something we cannot shadow away from.
It is. Right? Yeah.
There's always, these fingers are not equal. There's always going to be unjust things in the world. This is why the argument that I want equality for women does not make sense. But the argument that, yes, I want equity for everyone makes better sense in my perspective. Right? If we're fighting for all of us, for things to be just for all of us, and then we take away the facts that this is the things you can do, the things I cannot do. It is just that I do not know if you're Christian. I don't want to put you to that. But then there are people who actually really, 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 really are against feminism because of their Christian values. Right? Because for them, they know that, you know what, for a better life, this type of system is what helps us. There has to be some sort of hierarchy. We all can't. And if
let me put a hold there. Yeah, so me waking up and saying that I'm a feminist, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I can't submit to anyone, to a man.
I feel like submission is a cliche conversation. Like, how you submit can be really, really misinterpreted, but fighting for actual rights.
Right? Because, what I'm saying is that, do you not think that me saying that I'm a feminist, there's no, it doesn't.
When you say you're a feminist, this is what you mean. That me, I'm standing out for the girl child.
For the girl child.
And this is how that is bad.
And let me tell you, in a place where there's, because it doesn't negate the fact that there's hierarchies in society.
Yeah, but okay, forget hierarchies. But I'm saying, when you say me, I'm standing out for the girl child, it means the boy child has an issue.
No, let me tell you, if the boy child has an issue, Karen, go and stand for the boy child. Me waking up and seeing the problem. It's like when I wake up and if I wake up, and I find
we're going to have a Hitler situation. Boys standing against girls.
Yeah,
so me, that is what I do. That's why I don't.
If you wake up and try, right now it's Men's Mental Health Month. something like that, right? Yeah, and I've been seeing all these conversations about how men need to talk about it, like which is true. People need to talk
Let me
about it.
tell you something about talking, right?
As-
And people's opinion about mental health that I really do not understand.
No, let me first finish my point here, though.
Sorry.
So that has never taken away no one has ever come up and said men shouldn't talk. Yeah, of course we have all these things in society, all these things about how a manly man should be. Oh yeah, all that jazz is there. Yeah, but it has never. No one has woken up and said if a man talks, kill him. Yeah. So if I wake up and I see a problem and I see, this table is dirty, let me clean it. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I'm going to clean all the tables in the country and I'm responsible for that. No. I woke up. If someone woke up and noticed that women are vulnerable and they need this and this. There's a time recently I was out of the country and I was in an Uber from out and I was going back to my place. And this man, you know how they say some countries apparently like stuff is really messed up, the whole kidnapping thing and what. This gentleman literally wanted to kidnap me. You're in a foreign place. You need to know where you are. I was in the middle of the road at like 11. 11 is even early here in Kampala.
True.
But where I was, we seeing on internet people telling you that, hey, don't move at this time, move in groups. And for me, since in Kampala, I can move in a group, yeah, and go home I can move at 11 and go back home. It wasn't the same situation that side. This man drove and drove and drove till I noticed I'm like, I'm going to open. I'm like, where is this? He's like, we are going. You put in the map. This is where you put in the map. Guy was taking me to another city. I literally opened the door and had to show him that I'm going to jump out. And he got scared and he stopped and just drove off. So what I'm telling you is that if someone wakes up, now you see that's a personal experience, and that's something that some people have been pushing for and telling you women can't move at such a time and what and what. Back to your siblings, to you who thinks that you should treat your siblings equally, which is okay. They're your siblings and what. But a boy moving at 11 p.m., yes, you can also get a danger. That's true. These round kickers, they beat anyone and everyone. But yes, me, I can get a round kick as well. I could also be raped. Naturally, I'm not strong enough to fight with a man. Even if a man stops here in the ground, he will have more energy than me. Yeah. So what's that? That can't make you think that me as a person who is vulnerable as that has to totally be treated as a man who biologically grows muscles and have.
So let me stop you right there, right? First of all, it's a really bad situation. I am not taking anything away from it. I'm glad you got through it. Now, one of my border guys, George, one of the stories he used to tell me was, so I used to holler at him really in the middle of the night, just come and take me here, have a small meeting here, but let's get there first, right? So in the nights I used to call him, he used to tell me, man, I really, really hate going to the bars in the night. Because you see, you get the customer, she's a woman, you take her, you reach home, and she tells you she doesn't have money. And now she wants other things, right? So everyone gets vulnerable.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Man or woman. But look at the the amount of danger one is going to face more than the other. Because if I reach home and no offense, I don't take it away from your guy because that's not right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For it to be.
By the way, for him, he was excited. Sometimes it was like, I'll being called it up, but the attitude is not the same, right? How you react it is not how you react.
But because now because that border guy can as well say no and walk away. But imagine I'm on a border in the night and the border guys, tables have turned. You think I can easily walk away? I can just say no and walk away. You think it's as easy as it could be for the border guy? It's not, because I can say no and he can come and pull you and because he by default, by even things we can't change, because we're not going to wake up and tell God, you know what, reduce on the progesterone levels in the men. You get you can't reduce so many things like that, but it's by default that he's already stronger than me. So if in case, however much of course there's situations where
the conversation shifted from the negatives to teaching both women and men what their advantages are in an ecosystem and how they both contribute and how both have to win.
If you're teaching people, men and women, what their advantages are in such a system, you're going to end up having to limit, because you've seen those people who they say they raped her because she was wearing a mini skirt. You've had those situations, I believe, yeah? And then the solution probably could be, let me wear a Sharia or a long skirt.
But you're a biology student, right?
Yes, I am.
As a matter of fact, that
So,
someone can get aroused by looking at somebody, like it is just really a fact, right? So once the education is around, do not move in the night when you're in a miniskirt. Why should that be bad education?
No one is saying it's bad
It is.
education.
So feminism agenda is
Because
tell
but
us not to.
it's limiting me because I've gone to the bar, yeah, with my friends. I need to go back home. So because there's a man out there who can't be able to control himself, yeah, who can't be able to sit down and say, me, her telling me no means no, is going to be on the road, and now me, I have to stay home or not even go out, yeah, and sit home because I'm going to be with a man who doesn't have sense to think that, you know what, this isn't right. No one is saying it's the best. It's not the best education there can be, because you can't say that you're going to educate people on how to have manners. We already say people have bad manners by no one owes anyone anything. Yeah. But
And
also,
if you understand that no one owes anyone anything, why should you count on my my ability to control myself?
and that's why some of that stuff becomes, that's why these conversations around some feminists become extreme. Because if you cannot hear, if you mean that you and your fellow gender, your people, cannot hear the fact that you're telling you no or just stop, yeah, and someone is going to wake up and tell you, you know what, men are actually bad.
Two things that are really interesting. I'll give you two personal experiences again that really confuse me. That thing of men having to speak up. I tried it with a woman, and I kid you not, she was turned off, and I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see for a fact that she actually really had high expectations of me, but now she sees me as a crybaby, right? So by default, also by how emotions work, that's just there. Then the other thing is that wasn't speaking up, and
we could talk about that speaking up situation. You know, it's like,
yeah, and then sometimes you speak up, and then what? Right?
as a woman, I can tell you, some of us have this thing whereby we rant. Yeah? Women rant a lot. We rant a lot. And one thing about, unless about men usually go into solution mode. But me, what if I tell you, because I could come writing, I'm like, you know what, I have a shipment, and you know, it's 20,000 USD, and it's stuck, I'm so stressed, I can't even eat, what, and then you going to run into solution mode is crazy, because you don't have 20K, you know, to give to me and go put it back there. So it takes back to like that you speak up and feel less burdened, knowing that, you know, me as a person, because we rant. For us, I think it's me talking to you and feeling like, you know what, and you may be telling me sorry, sympathizing with me, and, you know, being like, you know, you handle this, you know, it's just time, take a nap, do what. That could also just be enough. Yeah. I saw it was actually this comedian guy, the South African guy.
Kevin,
No.
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah, yeah. Trevor Noah was talking about, it was a TikTok, I was talking about how, like, so many people, let me rephrase it, but it was going around how, like, so many men buy prostitutes, yeah, but not everyone is even buying prostitutes for the sex. You get me? Like, someone probably just wants to be touched, like just or probably sit and be listened to. And you know, when you get a prostitute, the guarantee is they're going to go. You won't have to look at the person that you ranted to your problems again. Yeah. But does it have to get to that though?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't have to get to that. Like, because there's nothing. And if that person, by the way, sorry about your experience about that lady who, you know, lost it. Yeah, we all go to people expecting much, but probably that's not the person that there was, because you could be, if a person doesn't like you, they don't want to really know your problems though. Yeah, it also could be as simple as that. But men speaking up is not supposed to be that you speak up and have a solution for I may not have, or I may have. Well,
So-
good, or even just your friends.
Yeah.
So there's no reason as why for you, like there's no reason as to why people have to be programmed in a way to carry things on their backs, yeah, and have to even go through extremities like getting someone you don't know and just crying for them and going home the next day. And because we are all trying to coexist, life is hard, that's for sure. So
I feel like the bigger part of women don't understand that statement. Life is hard. But now let's go to the no being the no, right? So incidences where I don't even know how to term this, right? So a majority of the women I've come across too are also, they have a thing for hard guys, bad boys, right? Yeah.
bad boys are fun.
So there's when there are scenarios where a woman would say, you didn't push hard enough, right? You probably have gotten in, but you didn't push hard enough, right? I needed to see how bad you wanted it. How should the boy child go around that?
For starters, I can't have a concrete reply to that of do.
But you know that exists,
I don't
right?
have steps and steps and steps. I think it all goes back to the whole toxicity thing. Yeah, there's so much toxicity right now, and all these things of us come up with the different traumas that we've had to deal with as children, probably growing up and never addressed. Because in one way or the other, if someone, there's this thing about you as a man, you can approach a lady, you can come and approach me, and you talk to me, you're doing all your these things, what, and I say yes at the end of the conversation, or it carries on to wherever it goes in a positive way. But also one thing you should also know, that I could have already accepted deep down in my head before even you finished your conversation. Yeah. So as you're thinking that you're trying to persuade me, you may not really be doing the most work in that scenario, as you may think you are. Yeah. So there is also that. But then this whole thing of you could have pushed further, you could have, first of all, I can bring it to the amount of content we're taking in about relationships, because that's all people like really build. Now, like these podcasts, there's podcasts whereby people's content is relationships, TikToks, and someone is telling how to know that a man is into you, how to know that a woman is into you, how to, when you know all that kind of jazz. Yeah. He has to ask you like there's so much content people are taking towards around that. And by the way, let me tell you, if you go to a person and they tell you could have, and they tell you no, or they really show that they are not interested, and later they tell you could have pushed for them, they're not okay in the head.
Okay. I don't think there's anything conclusive. I feel like I want to agree with you, but then I've seen it and
yeah. And perhaps it has worked for some people.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just the whole toxic situation going on. Because
do you feel like porn has an effect on this?
Porn.
Yeah.
In terms
people
of
having
what?
things like rough sex. Are you also aware that women in general search more about rapey kind of sex when you look at the porn data from Pornhub? So they're mostly interested in sexual intercourse, but that involves some sort of pain, right? Also, when you look at movies and what they try to depict, right? The richest guy,
yeah, and then he just
has this whole exactly has to
just
do this all that time. So that aura of, and
like I said, it's just it's some information is not really proper for us to take in, because recently as we were watching a series I watched when I was young, Vampire Diaries, and that whole, when I was young I was like, wow, Elena, oh my god, Damien is that guy. But you grow up and you're like, no, he wasn't that guy. That was so messed up. Yeah, like people need to learn how to have, like, it's not supposed to be that hard, that dangerous, that extreme. Of course, as people, our minds, people that love these kinds of roller coasters where like you're up in the air and turning and, you know, the thrill and all that. But as you all know, it's not sustainable. Yeah, so I think it just goes back to the kind of person. These are all like really personal situations and the kind of people that you as a person are looking out for.
Okay.
Because there's no way as a person, me myself, I even don't like going on to those roller coasters and what. It's just a very stressing situation for me.
You didn't take a trip to Ibiza?
I could not do those activities that involve flying out of the plane. I won't actually. That's
Any of that bungee jumping stuff?
no,
Nothing.
and no, that's just me though. I don't have.
Do you ever use any drugs, psychedelics,
No, I don't. Maybe
Molly?
just no.
Ecstasy?
I had the expensive. Even on the thingy.
You can find anything you want. Do you smoke marijuana?
And
Yeah, you're saying no because your mom will listen to this?
yeah.
Okay. So in a situation, I wanted to I'm going to go out from the I think this is my last question on the feminism thing. So feminism is not monolithic, right? There isn't one approach and one ideology. So different women also preach different agendas.
Yeah.
And there's all these writings.
Yeah.
Where does my man Jose learn that truth?
So what I can say is,
for you, what makes you believe that wherever you are standing at is what's best, right?
I could just
Because first of all, you are in Uganda. You have this whole culture background that is built on a very, 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 very like strong system that is on respect and hierarchy and submission.
So what I can say is I always just look at your mom. Yeah.
How do you mean?
No, like I always just equate it to a situation whereby, so okay, some people, if you usually use it to a system whereby you'd want something fair for people around you. Like you said, for you care about the people that are here. Mm-hmm. So imagine your mom, in a situation whereby you can't get to do some things because she's your mom. But then also, she's your mom, you love her, you'd want things for her. Yeah, you'd want her to be able to enter a car and there's no a taxi and there's no man touching her back because he's seeing me wearing, a vest kind of thing or with something with small straps. This, you would want your mom to come back home, because to come back home wherever they are from, because you can't predict what time you're going to come back. Sometimes things happen and you're like, I'm going to go back home later. Mm-hmm. You want her to be able to get back home safely, or your sister, you want her to be able to experience situations fairly, whereby there are no limitations of she's on her period. Like you've heard of people would say, like some people, when you're in your period, you're unclean, you're doing that. And I did not design that. That goes like religion, those extreme Jews things, And remember that I'm not God. I didn't design when my period is I'm supposed to have a period or not. So it all goes back to how you would want it for the people around you. How would you want their life to be? Imagine you woke up and your mom can't be able to drive a car. Yet you only have your mom to take you to school. Are you going to walk? Is that fair? Or is it fair? So that's what it has to go down to a personal level as you. That's why when I hear men saying they're feminists, I have no problem with it, because you as a person.
But there are women who really strongly believe that a man should not advocate for women because they naturally will not understand what a woman goes through.
No. That's
so they don't believe
of course, this
feminism.
People understand this whole feminism thing in very, very, very different ways. Some people, you wake up, a man did you that day, you're like, you know what, fuck man.
I think that's a majority.
Yeah, and that's someone's whole thing
ignorance.
about. Yeah. So that the ignorance levels of which are really different. And that's why there was a time when I was so passionate, and I started being passionate about it though. But there was a time where I would even have energy to engage in Twitter wars and trying to explain to someone. But then I reach a time when I'm like, no. You don't have to, because if you wake up and you see that me saying I'm a feminist and it's not treating you in a proper way, then you have a problem with it. Because how selfish of you not to want something as good and equal enough, for your family, for your people around you. And so when I wake up and I see, what actually annoys me is seeing a fellow lady saying
things they believe in,
like saying things that, are very, very not okay, like saying, me, let men be, feminists are bad, and you've not even gone ahead to actually educate yourself on the
because for them the
person
patriarchy system works for them fairly, by the way. There's so many people
So it really makes me wonder, because if a lady never woke up long ago and said, you know what, let's try to advocate for women, you didn't even have gone to school.
There's also this theory,
if a lady before long ago didn't come up and said that, let me fight for women, you who is out here on the internet typing, you know what, you don't have gone to school.
I don't want to get into that. Let me give you another theory that is going to interest you. So my good friend Eddie was on the podcast. He said that, did you know that feminism was introduced by, let us call them they, the system, how they give it very many names, but in a quest to just maybe tax more, because it was the men only paying taxes then. So the people, the powers that be that were interested in making more money, decided to put some sort of fight that will have the women come out to also advocate for working their jobs so that they could collect more taxes, right? And the thesis around that really makes so much sense.
Yeah, which is okay, but now...
and people were happy before before you introduce... So here's the thing, right? I've thrown so many house parties. There's this one time I gave guys cake, right? And it was just normal cake. But because I had really not bought so many drinks, I convinced them that it was weed cake, right?
And they were.
And then they pretended to be high, right? Because I've already banked real estate in their mind that there's some weight here. So they feel like anything, probably a nigga smokes a cigarette and then they feel like they're high, right? So that's the thing with how also media plays a role into what they introduce it to us, right? So look at it as accidents. Usually the media really decides to focus on one type of accident, right? So if they want to focus on buses that have fallen, they can do that for the next 3 weeks. Then so they instill fear in you, in thinking that whenever I'm going to take a bus trip, there's probably a bad thing around it, but it's just them bombarding you with all these bad things at the same time, so your brain processes them in that format.
Yeah, but also it could be true, because you could also take a bus and something bad happens. Now, back to the point where you said that the taxes, which that was really sharp, but if it takes that me being able to pay taxes as you are, is going to make me feel seen.
No, but maybe the fundamentals of life were, again, like how you see, like I've told you, they're healthy families right now. So me, my dad and mom are healthy family, right? My dad has to speak for my mom. My dad has to send back my mom to go back and see it, right? At functions. Hey, it's ours zokwogera ziweddeko naye kyekyo otule kuba olina okuddayo ofumbe. Like he actually makes this joke as it is, like you're supposed to be in the kitchen and it is sweet for us, we like it, and once he doesn't make that joke, we are not happy. You get? And we are definitely going to be like our father. But to them, that is the understanding.
That's
right?
How it works.
But when you observe it, say I've invited you to one of our functions, you truly could feel offended. You're like, man, in fact, that is why that guy is even toxic online, because it's like father, like son, but clearly.
Grow up seeing it at home. It also contributes to that, though, minus everything. But like I said, maybe it works for your mom and she's okay with it, because there are people whereby for them, looking after their person in ways that they can make your life easier for you, like I also look at it like that, is a language for them to the person. Yeah, and it works for them. It makes them, the other party, happy. So it doesn't mean that since that lady is a housewife and she's doing all these things for her man, she's doing the wrong things. She's supporting men who are toxic and what. It does not mean that, though. But also, you as Karen, who is now in a different age and era, who is more exposed than probably your parents are to all these different kinds of things. It's up to you to see that if I want a woman who is going to do that for me the way my dad did it, then I should go to that exact woman with such type of character. Yeah. And also not to feel offended that when you come and expect that kind of treatment from me, And I'm like, you know what? No, I won't.
But what does the data say?
I
That women who behave like this sustain more marriages and bring more peace than the ones who are jumping onto the feminism movement and are just getting into any new ideologies they probably do not have any history about and just following anything. The data suggests otherwise. That's
data. And also because
and numbers don't lie.
There's the piece, let me ask you, so peace being that me keeping quiet because me as a woman, who is very...
No, but remember,
agreeing.
it is saving you a lot, right?
Saving you a lot of what? Because
you probably are not going to
have situations whereby women wake up and they slowly poison the man because she kept quiet, she got stressed, and the man thought, this woman, since she's just doing everything...
That woman is a murderer. No situation is going to save her.
She's a murderer, but you're dead at the end of the day.
But I have lived my life.
No, you did. You didn't reach full potential.
Don't you believe in fate? Like death comes to you.
I do believe in that. That also is true. As you know, we've grown up in church where they tell you that's it. It's your time, God has called you. But minus everything though, at the end of the day, that woman that you thought was giving you so much peace and letting you do whatever you thought you were doing because you think, she's all that, has killed you at the end of the day. You're leaving children. You're doing what? So does it have to get to that? Me, what I'm telling you is this. Your parents, it works for them, and that's okay. Yeah. But just Karen, when you wake up and you go to one, because you may find a very beautiful girl that you're interested in, and she is not about that.
About respect, mutual respect? No, I feel like a man designed...
very, very relative. Because I may not be able to come back home and cook for you food every night because I'm also from work. You're from work. Which could make it different that maybe our parents were working lesser. My mom could have been working something.
That's exactly what I was going to drive.
And your man,
your
dad. So it's okay for us.
I mean, guys were going to fight wars, really.
Yeah. And as home, and the man will be home seated, and ideally supposed to.
Imagine wanting to give your opinion on a vote on someone who is most likely going to lose their arm, really. When you look at really what was happening then,
no, that's why
it was fair.
It's up to people right now. Like it even goes all the way to the things whereby like there's so much depression happening, the whole mental health thing. Like if you are a person right now and you have some, weird opinions about mental health and things that suggest otherwise, and you're in this day and era, then I wonder what kind of person you are, because those people were able to mask if they didn't know it, what the name, what it was. They don't call you. People would say, I'm tired. I'm tired. But today, because we can term it as, maybe I'm in a depressive episode, or I'm just so anxious about stuff, and now it's a problem that needs to be solved. So if someone wakes up and says that's not there because their parents didn't have it, did not say they were depressed, then that's on you. That's on you, and you actually having to be an unserious person, I can say. Just because it wasn't named, it wasn't there. So for your mom, because me, I may wake up today and marry a man, and both of us are waking up to go to work and coming back late, tired, working late hours. Yeah. And if you still think that I'm going to go back home and prepare you a meal every day, and that's like your, like attempt as a KPI of successful.
Because for me, it would be.
Yeah.
Right?
It could be for you.
Whether you are coming back at 2 a.m., whether when you'd have to go in the kitchen. You know why? Because even if we're making the same amount of money, right, and going to these jobs, on your birthday, you're going to expect me to buy you a car. You're going to expect me to be beyond and above. Whenever you have challenges in life, you're going to expect me naturally to be over and beyond. So little things like putting my water heater on and giving me food by yourself cannot stop you from living that life.
Let me tell you, if I come back to work from work every day and you expect me to sit down and start peeling matoke for your supper, given that you both had hard days. Yes, of course, as a woman, I can say I have to make sure there's food at home.
Yeah, because I'm buying your food anyway.
I could buy it.
Chances are high you're not buying it, right? You're saving your money for Fenty.
Person to bring it. What makes you think that when you have challenges, I can't come through?
It's numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I know for a fact that women.
And what makes you think that you're going to have a very my home. My mom and my dad, I like their
They're understanding.
They're
Really, you
they're
know, when you
making
love someone, I'm not saying we're going to come from like work at 2 a.m. and you really go and peel, but
Yeah, I
you
can
must
make
have
sure
that
there's
decency
food.
that I'm going to eat, right? That is what that
I can make
communication
sure
is.
there's
But
food.
you know what? That is
But
someone. Do you
also
have
you can also, it was just a notification. But also you can be like, you know what? That doesn't stop you from also coming with food. And you know what? I came with food for the both of us. Let's eat
True.
and sleep.
Because we are not enemies, right?
We're not
We know each other. I
Let me
know
tell
that.
you. We talked about those financial hardships and what. At my home, my parents have this dynamic whereby anyone can handle anything. Of course, mine are some things like food, probably picking out my dad's shirts. Of course, I was going to do that, yeah. Probably make sure there's food at home. But because there was a time for a factory whereby my dad's job was shaky. And I was in Gaza, my brother was in Amiyango, my sister was in Gaza Junior. So there was a lot of money being dished out. Came through. Because your kids also at the end of the day. Yeah.
Don't you find it unfair?
No, it wasn't
that
unfair.
you even have to say that she came through. Like,
No.
an ideally very perfect thing, it would be my marriage.
I'm replying you because you're saying that since you whenever I get any small challenge, you're going to be able to come through. What makes you think that when you get the small challenges, I won't be able?
Yeah, but
the
for me,
challenges I won't be able to.
I mean, you're not going to. It's not going to be sustainable if I get more challenges than you get. That is the point I'm trying to make. Like, no woman is willing to stay with.
Of course,
a guy
everyone wants a man to look after them.
Yes.
But what happens after 30, 15 years of
By the way,
marriage?
it's the same thing as men. You know what keeps those women there? Even when they fall out of love at 2 a.m. when the guy comes back, she'll probably question where you're from, but she'll put his food on the dining table. Because to her, she knows that these things.
Also, these things,
small
like
things.
you said, they're all about love. Because if it's someone that you love, there's no reason why I'm not if you go hungry. There's no reason.
But right now, to Manyinti, our chala business, they don't have any love. We have proven that. But to Babubi, that is all they're about. So in cases like that, and by the way, these conversations are taken as very shallow, but sometimes, even with the numbers, you can tell that more women have run away with more men's homes, more men's buildings, businesses. Women really, really make use of the whole victim thing to their advantage now. So what are your opinions on that? Because it is true.
Yeah,
Women get away with so many things like that.
But also it goes
So
back.
do you see that the system, do you
Like
feel
I
like
said,
feminism is really or not?
People are bad. And as feminism,
I like that you brought that now, that
people are bad people. You're going to get someone from wherever. Like me, and my dad recently, he never talks about relationship thing. And weirdly, he just told me some days like, we never talk about like such questions with me. And he just told me, no one is going to tell you anything about marriage. No one has the right path to it.
That's so true.
It's the biggest gamble.
That is true. And I believe him. My dad told my brother on his wedding the same thing.
It's
There's
the
no
biggest.
formula.
There's no formula. There's no
But that works.
It works for people.
For
But it may not work for you. Like I said, it's a gamble. There's no solution. There's no right path.
But what would you prefer?
In terms of what?
I grew my man Jose. He grows up. He becomes then comes and marries you off. Because
No.
you'd want
I want to
communication, knowing the person. Those movie things that happen.
I want to have they're annoying, but I would want them.
But they're unreal.
No, they're not very unreal. Like I said, it's a gamble. It can work for people. It has worked for people. Men, guys who, that just whereby you say, you can't do it, your high school lover.
I've even been to their weddings.
Like these guys were in high school, we were Kolavichi, and now, they're getting married like after 6, 7 years, 10 years. So, like, there's no way around it. But me, I would want to know my person prior. I guess I'd be able to have a choice in whatever I'm choosing. Whatever I'm going to get married to. Whoever, sorry.
Are you getting married to a man?
Yeah.
Okay.
One man. God willing. So yeah, that's really it. Like, as people are bad. You'll find a thief, they take away all your money. Or you may find one who will take away your money and just stay there and eat it with you. So there's nothing like feminism. You mean these women that I've seen on like TV, like onamkazi yakaza mkoti wangatayat bamwade transport nataja. You think that those women out there know about feminism? I don't. They don't. So feminism can't go that far to tell a woman down there in New Best Posega, whatever, you can steal money from his pocket because you're empowered, because you can, because these men are bad, what? No one.
But naturally, they still steal money.
Yeah, they still steal money from you, but it's not feminism. It's just bad people.
My friend Mark Diego told me his story at New Best Hotel. They stole his money.
Why was he at New Best?
That is the question. He's going to listen to this podcast to listen to that question. But meanwhile, do you feel like the fight is worth it?
Yeah, it
I
is.
feel like it's disorganized.
It could be disorganized, but
It's
there's
not going to produce results.
there's results. It's worth it.
Mm.
It's worth it because if you're me, I've grown up in a home where my mom has a say too, yeah, whereby she can take decisions, she can do what. Even sometimes they I don't know whether they be arguing or not.
Had more say to everything than my dad.
Exactly.
In all aspects of our growing up.
Exactly, and it works
And she's still the submissive type. But she had the biggest say. She was the boss. She was, you'd definitely feel like our dad is a plant, an ATM. But every single decision, they've just at school. Okay. Your issues will be resolving with your mom.
Even
What
your father can
combination?
send you.
Yeah, your dad will be involved last minute and he will make some
Until there are some extreme situations that's not there. So if someone is being told, or like the first thing may have a problem with, it's so stereotypical, but I do not like men from the West.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
The few that I've come across, or even things I've heard from people around me, there's a way the arrogance is just a little bit too much.
They're in power, yet they have fucked up the country.
Leave alone that whole power thing, because if you're Kachimini, this Munyankole down here has gained much from the power down here on his bicycle. You're just from the West, man. Let's even stop using that thing as in the West of the power. Which power do you have?
Okay. Well, they have the president.
Yeah, you have that president. But yeah, if you're not going to school, name won't get you anywhere. If you're not known in those families.
I don't think so. So many of them have not gone to school.
Not known in those families. We all know how these things work at the end of that day.
True.
But minus everything, like now, what plays me, you see such a person talking to you with so much audacity and even ends up saying we're in power and you're wondering what his power has gotten him, his being in the power has put where he has gone.
But do you go back to your beef on the Western men?
Yeah. Arrogance is just crazy. That they talk down on people so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they think they know so much. Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't like.
How did you come up with this? Like, how did? Because
I've come across them. They come and talk to you, and they expect you to just do whatever they are telling you to do. That's all they can tell you. Their place to take you is over saunas, over Uchi. And then after that, you're like, as in sauna. And then there's a time we were at that rugby place in Bulgaria. It was nice. And someone approached me and my friends. Yeah. Mm. He's like, okay, come, I buy you beer. So,
but did you want? Like, I mean,
I don't even.
I feel like your character assassinating one wrong.
No, I'm not saying. But me, it doesn't. Like I said, it's stereotypical. It's not fair.
Okay.
But it doesn't work for me. Like you say, you have your own opinion about shit. It doesn't work for me. And then when you go all the way, that even you see how their families play so big role in how they choose their people, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just really, really crazy.
So you don't want to go through all that.
And the way they are. The girls sometimes are programmed now, like the Bahima. You see a person and they're just 26, yeah, and they're so stressed. They need to get married because at home in the village,
too much pressure.
You're so grown. Why aren't you married? And then they're going to marry from some guy who even, whatever. So I just have beef with how they do some things, and some people are actually brought up like that. There's a time I joined some club and they had these boys, It had so many boys, but were also a few girls there. And then they would like always have, be saying things in the group about what. So I don't remember what I said, but this gentleman who introduced me to the club, because we're in the same uni. Actually, yeah, it's Leo's club, Leo's Lions. Mm-hmm. So it was titled Marcus, our year what. And then I commented about something. Someone said something. I said something and someone replied me in a not good way. And I was like, As in, then I type, like, you're speaking nonsense. And this person looked for me. The person went to me to that group, yeah, looked for me at campus and came and told me, how can you reply to someone in the group like that? And yes, I understand who took me there. But you know what it also means? That I can't have a say, I can't be able to, defend myself or say something the way I want it to be said, because, you as, and it was Onyankole guy, really.
Do you feel like your opinions have been suppressed a lot in life, that now that you...
Not so much. With time, they start being suppressed.
Okay.
Because sometimes you look at it and you're like, it's not worth the fight. And you assess.
But you've already made up your mind on Nomba Nyankole men.
I don't like them. I don't like them.
And
I don't like
the
them.
ones with money.
But forget
So then chiko wote.
Nange namwe ntono though.
Tezijja kumala. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Naye,
Need a man to support you.
it is going to take a lot. Maybe the liberal ones who are also not liberal, because you meet people. Maybe just stop there. This whole
You have your beef.
I have my beef, and it's there to stay. And yeah, it's just the whole looking down on people that's really not fair for me.
Anyhow, what do you think about Nyamutoro, the minister, and what she stands for? As first of all, she's a woman who is in power.
She's young.
She's young. She's representing the youth.
Yeah.
She's also into the mineral sector, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's your opinion?
So first of all,
do you feel like she's selling herself short?
For starters, congratulations to her.
Congratulations on what?
On her being appointed.
I thought on like really having a relationship with a superstar.
No. Okay. No, not interested in that. So congratulations.
It's not easy. Not everyone gets educated.
It would not be something I would want really so. Oh, I would really look at the biggest things. She's a minister though, as in Eddie Kenzo. She's a minister. So
do you know who Eddie Kenzo is?
She's a minister.
What does that mean? Minister Uganda. Eddie Kenzo is an international guy.
Hey.
Stadium upon stadium, Algeria. What? That's so much power. It's like you're chasing Michael Jackson levels.
Good for Eddie Kenzo.
Okay.
Yeah. But congratulations to her for that. It's, but I have one small issue. Not even small. Because I imagine, you go for these conferences and you're seeing how people, like she can be posting things on the internet, and those photo ops. Today I was with this one. Today I met this.
Part of big accountability, keeping the masses involved into her normal day, right?
Yeah, but she's young. She's a youth. She's there for the youth. There's so much more for her that she can do. You don't have to be putting out information like these old ministers who are 72 are doing.
How do you mean by that? I saw your tweet on that. Yeah, what do you mean exactly?
You can't just be showing us that your level of accountability is by putting out those pictures of today I met this, today, like the way these same ministers have been doing it for all these years. The difference is you're young. You're supposed to be more in touch. Yeah? I imagine you could be more in touch with what's on ground than those people.
So you want like a report?
Not a report. We want you to address real issues. Yeah, you can reach there, and those miners deep down there are telling you that they can't afford to, have a kilogram of mercury to finish work. Their kids are being cut by the stones. You see women down there suffering, the ones that break stones.
Bombs are cutting out.
Oh, like there's so much that you could have more, impact on, and more shed, like throw more light on than you.
So you're feeling she's still so on the surface?
Yeah, she's really on the surface, and she's seeming to do a lot of work. But as a young minister, and more so in energy, things that some of us are really passionate about, there are some things we really need to see happen. Yes, it's still early. I'll give her for that. Like, she's just going to the role, but there are things she's supposed to be moving towards that she has not yet tackled, things that are deep.
Do you feel if the minister got you on her team, you'd add some impact?
Well, I think I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would, because I tend to have...
What sort of impact do you feel like you would bring her? Okay, yeah, let me just listen to you.
I think I would. So yesterday, the other day, we were in field doing surveys outside in Mukono. And of course, well, I was supervising, but of course, time comes and you just have to get to do some work to make things. It was make sure it's supposed to be done in a day. And we were doing hydrogeological surveys, getting use of these instruments. And as a student in Chambogo, who even never saw what some of the instruments looked like as I was studying. It was just teachers coming and telling you go to YouTube, or you as a student thinking, let me go to YouTube. Some lecturers told us go to YouTube, see how these things work. So the whole, like, students are there studying things that they have no idea about, like, you know, all the physics, because I reached field that day. And you're remembering all these things through vertical depth, like you're remembering all the physics you used to recite.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, do you know how much this would have done for my career development? Like, it would have made me so interested in school. It would have made me want to do so much. Like, do you see how, like, kids out there are doing so many big things at a young age? Like, you know, they're putting up all these kinds of projects and doing these kinds of assimilations, like, you know, work. And the kid is like, what, 22, 20. So imagine how much that would have done for me, because now when we happen to have a former lecturer on our team to us, and he told us that there's a time he went to the ministry and he was told you can have access to all these things. You can bring the students here and they see them. But this he went back to the university and they told him, you don't have transport to transport your students to Entebbe to see those things. You get? So the systems in this country are not working. And at the end of the day, you're finishing your project, you're finishing the course, and they expect you to have a mind-blowing project about things we've never seen.
Yeah.
So they're just small failures that someone needs to put. It also goes back to, like, PAU, the regulators themselves, you know? You're busy studying a course and they're telling you this is unnecessary. Like, you're listening or seeing on, you're trying to, like, compare yourself with other unis out there and you're seeing probably this is not even it.
Sure. Yeah, but that goes to so many courses, including engineering, by the way.
Engineering, even to be, you know what's happening right now? You know how so many engineers are in accounting, auditing.
I know.
They come for you and they're like, hey, this one's did serious math. And then the guys that want to do accounting and finance, that big class of like 1,000 kids, where are they ending up? So, like, it's in a perspective, in a way that the things that I've experienced, there's so much that needs to be done all the way to the down. Because there's no reason as to why a university can fail to have transport, money for a bus, fuel, to take kids to Entebbe to see these instruments in work, to see what an oil core looks like.
Yeah.
So of course, it's as a person who knows how, you know, we've been reciting these systems, the hierarchies, the minister, then PAU, then ministry, then, you know, we know how all those things work. Yeah. But who do we have in touch with us right now? A youth minister. Yeah.
So you expect them to do better?
Do better. That's all I can say. Yes, we know you have to go to PAU, then pass.
And as I listen to this podcast, how else do you think, what can she put in place to have these ideas, right?
All I can really say is, since she's in energy, like, let her not just do the surface things, go deep down, have people get more inspired. It's because also school itself, you know, for us, we finished, you graduate, then there's COVID. You know, there was a time when the oil barrel was at zero because no one was moving to anywhere. I would, you know, as a person about to graduate, you're seeing that information.
And they like it shows. So
What was that? All these years, my parents have spent all this money. Yeah. So, like, at the end of the day, like, she needs, I don't know, I feel like I've been shy to say she needs to, but all I can say is that we deserve more from her. We deserve more from her. She's a youth, she's young, you know, like, the whole transition from student to a professional is crazy. There's no inspiration for graduates. The young graduates, we are suffering. I know I'm still a young graduate too. It's been a while. But we are suffering. The path is not clear. And she's in power. She's probably one we can approach, and I be there and I be replying her tweets because I be seeing what she has said she's done, which is a good thing too, which she's doing good stuff, I guess. But there's so much more. There's so much more that needs to be done. More hands-on work. People need to have proper direction. People are ending up as auditors, and these are very sharp brains because we've been to school. Guys who are really, really sharp. And they're going to do auditing. What would have happened to our engineering, whatever, if they were in here with us and getting all this work done? So
let's hope for the best. Thank you, Patricia, for doing the podcast with me. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.